Hey, it's Ken. Welcome to Design at Scale. I'm obviously not in a super chipper mood right now because I tried to 3D print the Flux Generator. That's one of the cells. This is the mess. It's everything else. This is supposed to be the core. I can peel that off. I don't really know what happened. Somewhere along the lines it got messed up. I'm thinking what happened is that I unplugged my laptop. And when I unplugged my laptop, maybe it hadn't fed everything into it. So I guess I'm gonna start over. That's actually a pretty solid print. That's a good resolution. So when the actual thing prints, maybe it'll look great. Let's try this again. This is what printed. It wasn't full. It stopped printing, and I realized why it stopped printing. My file was messed up. There was a section missing from the flux cells, which are these. There should be curved surface on the top that LEDs fit inside in here, which messed up the flux core, which I'll show you in a minute. I printed a new one, and the new one looks really, really great. The cap fit on it too. So that's good. Now what we're gonna do, I fixed that file. We're gonna go to Flux Cell. Flux Core, Flux Cell. That's the last one, so we'll push OK. And yes, I wanna start. There we go. Now, hopefully what that's going to do is print properly and print so that it's not missing a section out of the middle. And I'll show you the flux core. This is the flux core. You can see it's got a top that comes off right there, and that piece just goes in. And that actually printed really, really well. I had to lower the print resolution just a little bit to get to print within 2 hours. And I've got a couple pieces of PLA that are kind of spaghettied in there, but it's way better than the spaghetti that was the entire Flux Generator. I'll play around with the core a little bit, make sure that I sand that down good, and then I can paint that. And I'm printing one flux cell at a time because I just don't want to play with that anymore. What I'll do now is show you what the problem with the cell was and how to fix something if you're having difficulty with your printer, because sometimes it's not the printer. I gotta say, my printer, and I'm not gonna name the name brand right now, unless you're interested in a sponsorship. The printer's great. It's a really inexpensive printer, and it's great. The only trouble I ever have with it is when my file is bad. Yeah, now you can see. All right, so these lines that extend past the flux cell shouldn't be there. I have no idea what happened to this file. So what I did, I had also made a different file. I saved these separate cells. This was what it'll look like when it's all colored in. So you go up here. That's kind of what it'll look like. Blue lights inside the cells. A red light in the center that'll flash. So what I decided to do was go inside there, copy that guy, create a new file, and I use SketchUp for all my modeling. Paste that in, zoom, get rid of this guy. So zoom in on it a little bit more. I like to center all of my models, make sure that I've got everything, I've got it where I need it. I think that's now, yeah, so this is all a separate piece. So I have to double click on all, or multi-click all of that. I like to center on the axes. There we go. That way I know it's grounded. It's on the ground plane. Okay, you can see that those still exist in here, but it's better than it was. Now if I go to File, Export STL, I have the STL plugin for SketchUp. I got rid of the guy so I can unclick export selected. I'll just export everything. And then I want to save that as Flux Cell 2 because I don't want to mess up the existing Flux Cell 1, just in case this doesn't work. I'll save that to the desktop. There we go. And I go to Flux Cell 2. There we go. And when I double click that, that's going to open in my 3D modeling software. Now, the scary part here happens when I go to upload. I want to change my settings. I definitely want a raft. I definitely want supports because there's a really thin piece in there. I like the honeycomb pattern. It saves some time. And I want a really low layer height because I want higher resolution. Okay, normal, standard, great. The rest is fine. Now if I export, it's going to say there's a .3W. And I'll get to see if this section right here is missing, I'll know there's a problem. If it's not, I'm good to go. Software is slicing that up into little layers at 0.2 millimeters each. I'll save that to the desktop. And it looks pretty good. So if I zoom in, yeah, it looks great, actually. We're good. So that's what I had to do. I couldn't just export this out of the original file because it didn't want to work right. So there, you can see that this area here is going to be the supports. Area underneath is supported, and then there's a raft under the whole thing. This isn't as smooth as I would really like it to be, but I mean, it's good enough. It'll work for now. I can always fill that with something later. Or this is the software end of what's going to become the hardware. Again, so this snaps in just like that. And there'll be 3 of those. I'm printing one at a time because if I run into trouble, I don't want to waste all of the PLA that I have because I don't have a ton left. So wish us luck on this build. This Flux Generator is going to go into the Trans-Spacetime vessel, which is my Hyundai Accent hatchback, and it'll be part of Adventures from the Space Twinkie. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all printed, and when I start to code the Arduino that's going to power it and flick the lights on and off. The 3D printer just finished printing the cell for the Flux Generator. Let's pull this off the bed. I always love doing this. It doesn't come off very easily. So, sorry about the hand there. Let's see if I can get it off without snapping it. Nope, I'll have to cut it. Alright, so I use a knife because I've lost my spatula thing. Push that all the way to the back. More leverage. Push under there. And I just broke it. Whoops. Alright, let's use my old soldering iron holder. See if that'll work. There we go. Soldering iron holders never fail. Thanks, buddy. So, there is the first flux cell. I think I'll put more tape on the bed and print another one tonight before I leave. That way I'll have 2. Let's take a look at it and just see how well that fits into the flux core. I think that'll be interesting. I decided to use the messed up 3D print as a manifold to build the Flux Generator on top of. Well, maybe the third time's not the charm every time. The flux cell that you see in the background has failed to print one more time. That's all right. I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I have those 2 done. These 2 flux cells are finished. The manifold has to be glued together. And I'll paint it all. And I think I'll rewrite the script for Adventures from the Space Twinkie so that instead of worrying about having 3 flux cells, one of the other problems that Blip can face is managing the space-time continuum on 2 flux cells and modifying the flux generator to be more efficient. I don't have enough PLA right now to print another one, and I'd like to film the episode where Ken and Blip install the Flux Generator into the trans-space-time continuum vessel. So I have all of my LEDs, an Arduino, some resistors, my power source, and a breadboard. I'll be playing with that for design at scale, and maybe Blip will make a special appearance. I think I can manage that kind of special effects in design at scale. So I'll update you some more in a little bit. Bye.